In a world with a lot of normal people, one muffin defies physics. And the water. Day 1, I woke up with metal arms, nothing to my name, and I was stranded in the middle of nowhere. Must have been a fun night. I immediately booked it to a supply drop. In a challenge where I can't make my own stuff, these are crucial. And I couldn't open the first one. Then, I got my first pet. I'm gonna name you Goober. It came from above. I couldn't open the third drop either. Yeah, this was gonna be a problem. I decided to go do some missions. On this map, missions are little simulations that can give you some pretty good loot, and hexagons, which you can use to buy stuff. They're also used for the final boss, but that's something for later.
Should be able to plug you back into the simulation from here.
I...
Race through this maze and we can re-establish contact with the ship's advanced probes.
So I lost and decided to spin in circles.
Ready? Here we go.
Round 2. After easily beating that mission, I decided to do the Gamma one real quick. Yes, I was able to beat it. There's one place that I really wanted to explore. I'm so gonna regret this. Rockwell's innards. Pretty much everything in this place wants to destroy you, your shoes, and anyone that you love. Hello? Just want some candy. Hello, big brother. Ah!
All this stuff. Out of them. There are places where the metal just starts becoming meat. Techno-organic interface.
Ah!
Molecular
Maybe...
We need to
I just
stop
want to
this
go
corruption
home.
here before it takes. I can use this to access Rockwell's control room, but we'll need to hack into nearly every other system on the ship
Hello?
first.
Seekers. Ooh, wait, is that one? Are you a thing? Or are you a thing? Oh, you're a thing.
I do hope you're not trespassing with subversive intentions. Wars in heaven tend to have
Bye.
apocalyptic
Adios. Hasta la vista.
consequences.
See you tomorrow. Where do you find Reapers? Reapers are really strong T-Rex-like creatures that are usually hidden in the ground, waiting to attack you. They can be pretty easy to tame if you know what you're doing. I've never tamed one. Apparently my one brain cell was still asleep that morning, because I decided that running along the floor, where all of the things that wanted to murder me were, was a great idea.
Hi.
Ooh, nope, 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 nope. That was a Noglin. Noglins are speedy little rascals that love to eat brains, especially mine. Eventually, I chose to leave. Also, I may or may not have left Goober behind. I spent the rest of the day doing one of the racing missions. Day 2 started with me hiring a new Goober and looking for drops. The only noteworthy things I got were some farming structures and a blood extraction pump. Then, I did the infamous downriver run race. Look, Mom, drifting. Oh snap, I'm not supposed to be drifting.
You do see that rock, right?
No. I'm a young teen driver. Reconsider. I don't want to talk about it. Then I realized I could buy berries for my dinos to eat. With this in mind, I started to look for an herbivore to tame. I was hoping to find a passive tame like a Moschops or Equus, so I didn't have to find Trank arrows, because I couldn't craft them. I didn't see any good levels though. I also realized I could buy meat, but the price was a lot worse than the berries. Inflation these days, man. Just got an idea. What if I tamed a Ferox? All you need to know about Feroxes is that they're cute little gremlins. So I started looking for a high-level Ferox. Day 3, I started heading up to this lake area where I found Feroxes in other playthroughs. So is there some kind of protest I don't know about? Yeah, I'll just leave him to it. Until finally... Ooh. I quickly began moving this little lady away from the giant alligators that were nearby, but there was one problem. I needed 20 element to make this thing my pet. Each piece of element cost me 2,000 hexagons, so I rage quit for the day. I went back to grinding missions, starting with the downriver run again, which went poorly. I decided that it would be best if I did the circuit chase mission a lot to farm hexagons. Doing 2 of these missions, which each take me about 2 minutes by the way, lets me buy 1 piece of element. 1 element? I needed 20 of these, or 40 freaking missions, to tame this 1 Ferox. I was also looking for drops during this time. Editor, cue the ground montage. Day 4, I decided to look in the other ring for drops, but pretty quickly I realized just how awful looking for drops on this map was. No joke, 90% of the drops were stuck in the floor where I couldn't get them. But I guess this map isn't all bad. Genesis Part 2, and Ark in general, has a lot of bugs, but you gotta admit, this ecosystem design is crazy. Day 5, I went back to grinding missions, but I started getting a little hungry, so... Okay. I gotta do it, right? Okay. Commit to the bit. Hello. Hello? Are you gonna eat me? Are you a vegetarian? Oh, dang. Day 6, missions. Day 7 started with... Anyways, I started looking for a base spot. I chose this mission terminal and started taming a pretty odd creature, a Diplo. If you've played Ark before, you're probably really confused, because Diplos can't do any damage. So, why on earth do I want one? Then, I made him carry his own poop. Please don't call PETA on me. The morning of day 8, the drops were amazing. If I was making an army of pigs. Ooh! I got doors! There we go. When that was done, I decided it was time to do the last missions I needed. And before long, I was finally done with the mission grind. So I reset my hunger bar and made my way to the Ferox detainment. Okay, it's time. Where is she at? Ruh-roh. I told you they were gremlins. Huh? At some point, my Ferox decided to clone itself. Yeah, I'm as confused as you are. It also kept stealing the element without transforming, which meant I had to go back to grinding mission. And just like that. And just like that, I had my first proper tame. Day 11, I flew home with my new friend and died to an Alpha Raptor. This let me respawn and look for drops in the other ring. As the night fell, I found a high-level Velonosaur. Velonosaurs are pretty much big raptors that take the Second Amendment to a whole new extreme. The next morning, I was still farming drops, which I got some gear from, like a riot helmet and riot leggings. And before long, it was time to crawl back into the unescapable dungeon that is missions. Day 13. I woke up and got straight to business. I'd been grinding those missions so that I could tame a low-level male Ferox. Why low-level? Long story short, the way Arc Dino breeding works is it's 50-50 on which parent's stat the baby takes for each of its stats. This means there's a chance that the child gets all the good stats of the mom and none of the dad's bad stats. I also did this because I was tired of missions. Ma, the protest has grown again. Eventually, I did find a level 20 male, and besides having to call him a Florida swamp puppy. Wait, y'all don't keep alligators as pets anymore? I tamed it pretty easily. Day 14, I just went back to base with my new buddy, and grabbed any drops that I saw along the way. After organizing my scraps, I named my Feroxes after their favorite alcohols. As day 14 flowed into day 15, I made a horrifying discovery. The loot I'd stored away in the mission terminals had vanished. Why? Apparently, if you put stuff into terminals like this, then log out, the compies steal all of your hard-earned, mission-grinded loot. Clump it together into an unsensible mess of a video. Then plug it into the juice boxes of the newborn tots of the modern age. Is this secretly a commentary on how content farms are destroying children's minds? I tried to do the Survive the Ark mission. It all happened so fast. The rest of day 15, I grinded more missions. Day 16, I stopped grinding missions. With my new Ferox couple and the element I bought with my plethora of hexagons, I started the Ferox breeding process. To do this, I had to get Jin fully addicted, so between feeds, I did missions to get even more element and loot. A lot of boring work later, there was a new drinker in the family. Say hello to Cider. Day 17, I imprinted Cider. To the noobs, imprint is a permanent buff you can give to dinos that you raise to make them crazier than a kitten in a store full of catnip. Then I made him grow up without an iPad, and did more missions. Day 18, once the little guy was grown up, I gave him his own mask, and got a Deinonychus dossier, for some reason. Even being a lower level, the imprint buff Cider got when he was growing up made him pretty strong just from the start. We spent most of the day shredding everything in our path to give him as many levels as possible. Then, I messed up. That sucked. Not only did this hurt emotionally, but it also threw us back progress-wise. Sure, I could go back to grinding missions, getting the element back and breeding again, but didn't feel right. Would all of that time spent be worth it when I could just focus on a better tame? That night, I just farmed drops, still upset, and found a max level Rex. Day 19. Drunken with my tears, I decided to not use Element to solve my problems, as the Feroxes did, but to solve my problems in a healthy way. Building. I got some ocean platforms in a drop at some point, so I decided to place them and use this new area to make a crop farm, safe base, and anything else that I might need it for in the future. As I was looking for drops, I found a very high level horse. This gave me an idea. Horses are pretty unique creatures in Ark. Firstly, they are passive tames, like the Diplo. To tame them, I only need the food that they like and to feed it to them every once in a while. I don't need any tranquilizing gear, which I'm struggling to find. On top of being a passive tame, horses also have a kick attack. This can be used to knock out tames, allowing me to tame bigger, stronger creatures. Logging back in on day 19, I messed up with my mic a bit. Now, as you could probably tell, I'm still new to YouTube stuff. If you have any thoughts about the video or suggestions, feel free to drop them down below. I'll make sure to send them up to ChatGPT to read them. Back to the Drunk Cowboy show. I couldn't find the max level horse. I think the dogs got him. Day 20, I flew around the ring looking for more horses. Returning to base, I grabbed the farm equipment I had collected and placed some crop plots. Filling them with the one crop that I had. Lawn grass. Trivia time. Is lawn grass spelled like A, long grass, or B, long grass? It's A. Why? The world may never know, I guess. Now, back to our regular broadcasting. This stuff would grow slowly, but in time, it could be useful. You never know. Day 21, I found more long grass seeds and fertilizer, so I did those to the garden. Then I tamed a random otter, I placed a storage box, found some new seeds to grow, and discovered a plank with a pillow on it. It is only now hitting me that I haven't slept in 20 days. Day 22, I found a fabricator and a really good long neck rifle. I don't have any ammo. I also found 2 more Velonosaurs, and come to think of it, they were in a pretty good spot to be tamed. Day 23, I planted my new seeds and struggled to place a water reservoir and a toilet. After that, I went back to collecting drops. Then I went to go find a low-level horse, because I only had berries to tame these horses, which meant it would take literal hours, or like 6 in-game days, to tame a high-level horse. So I followed this horse around for way too long, trying to be careful and not scare it. I scared it. After 15 minutes of looking for it, then another 5 minutes of following it around menacingly, I started to tame it. Now that I finally have that tamed, I should probably tell you my plan. I was going to use this horse to tame a Velonosaur. Since it was a low level, it had low health and low melee. So I decided I would need something else like a Diplo or Moschops to tank the Velonosaur's needles, while I kick the Velonasaur into next year using the horse. With this Velonasaur, I could use its second amendment ability to kill alphas to get better gear and to kill other dinos to get trank arrows. I could also use it to complete the hunting missions. Spoiler alert, there are no hunting missions because I'm playing single player. You know it's bad when you have to tame this. Level 20 Equus. Just so that I can tame something else. Just so that I can kill something else. Just so that I can finally tame something. I gave my stallion a proper name. And started killing creatures for levels. Day 25 was pretty uneventful because I just looked for Diplos and mouse chopses. At the end of the day, I started taming a Diplo. As it became day 26, I realized just how short my attention span actually was. Looking at you, Instagram. As I gave up on taming the Diplo so that I could tame this Moschops. I dropped all of my loot off at my base and picked up the supplies I needed for a Velonasaur trap. Then, I flew off to the other ring. Planning to tame the high-level Velonasaur I found earlier, I went to where I last saw it, only to find I'd been arced again. It was dying to a Kentro and Stego. Plot twist, that was a different one. So, where was the other one? It dipped, I guess. Left, packed it all up, and just booked it to Canada. Probably even goes by the name Greg now. Day 27, I looked for more Velonasaurs until I found these two, which I thought would be good enough. So I started building the makeshift trap, and cleared the area so that was a straight shot to the trap. I did turn off resource collecting on my Moschops before doing that. You remember that magnetic ball game? Where you're like using the magnet to move the ball through the maze? Yeah, that's what we're doing here today. I take that as a win.
Welcome to the Hexagon
Take that as a
Exchange.
win. We may have lost 2 soldiers, but I take that as a win. RIP Twilight Sparkle and unnamed Moschops. You may have died, but you know, it was against a miniature T-Rex with a COD addiction. So, odds were kinda rigged against you. But you completed the mission. Good on you. With this new menace at my side, I started decimating the overgrown swamp puppies and alphas I'd found during my travels. Mostly the swamp puppies. I was more than impressed with my new friend. It was finally time to make some progress in this challenge. The hunting gave him a ton of levels, and it did give me a few tranks. Now, I hadn't gotten any good crossbows yet, so I kept hunting. Seeing how I could kill that Alpha Rex, I decided to hunt down the level 130 Alpha Rex that had been terrorizing the mountains near my base.
I don't think so. No, 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 no. I don't think so. No, 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 no. It's never, ever, 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 ever gonna happen.
Every time. On the plus side, I know where another one is. I forgot to unpause my recording. I think you can tell how it went though. The many bloodthirsty threats, including but not limited to Shadowmanes, which are the OP creatures I banned from this challenge, the awful knockout spot, and the plethora of highly damaged and broken slingshots, tells you everything you need to know about how much of an absolute pain this tame was. By far my hardest tame ever in Ark. I flew back home and threw out both of my Velonosaurs, which left one with cryo sickness. This meant I'd have to wait to breed them. So, for day 34, I just grinded missions, until the Velonosaur woke up. Then I got them mating and I got an egg, but a new problem had emerged. How was I going to hatch it? After looking through my stuff, I found a fireplace, which, with some quick research, I found it provided the perfect temperature for the egg to hatch. Day 35, I set up the fireplace and started hatching. During this time, I found a land trilobite, which I named Oliver. I never saw Oliver again. The next day, I had 2 babies raising. One would go on to be a legend, and the other would be left in the dust. In the dawn of the new morning, a new vanquisher arose. Before we even started leveling though, a vengeful competitor stepped forth and almost killed my new champion before we even got to the leveling grind. Speaking of which, we spent the rest of the day hunting anything that could give a ton of levels or drop trank gear. If she could survive the tests, I would give her a worthy name. Day 38, I was hunting. That's it. The start of day 39, I named the backup Velonosaur, and planned on naming my main Velonosaur after it completed the test. The final test was simple. Finish off the Alpha Rex.
Hello there.
You're bleeding.
But that was just the dog needed to break Baba Yaga's slumber. In day 40, it was finally over. And I accidentally cryo sicknessed my Velonosaur. Again. With no stimulant for my Velonosaur, I had to wait it out. So I went back to the Survive the Ark mission with my best gear. By the time that was done, Baba Yaga was almost awake. When he did wake up, I leveled him up to be an absolute monster, and looked for more stuff that I could kill or tame. Well, okay. Hey guys. After a while, I'd finally found what I was looking for. Day 42. After I became one with the Alpha Raptor, I did some research. I had a problem. I was not getting nearly as many Trank arrows as I needed to tame a Rex. I needed 73 arrows minimum, so I either had to find a new way to tame this Rex, or find a new creature entirely. It would have to be a creature that I could tame easily, and I had saddles for. Or I could tame a creature that had natural armor. That was the case for my new obsession, the Reaper King. These things had natural armor, so I wouldn't have to find saddles. They were also pretty easy to tame if you knew what you were doing. So on day 43, I made an enclosure for the little xenomorph babies I would raise, and I went on a trip to tame the Reaper. So let's cut to the chase. How do you tame one? Easy. Hurt the Reaper Queen to below 2,000 health, walk up to the behemoth, let it poke you with its tail, and now you are the father. Go home and decimate everything in your path to give your new little ray of sunshine levels before it claws out your stomach and eats you alive. Welcome to Ark, noobs. Enjoy your stay. Day 44, I just looked for Reapers. You did. Show me the goods. When both of the high-level Reapers died in acid, I realized this was a waste of time. It was back to the drawing board. How could I tame a Rex? New idea. The horse that I used earlier had a knockout attack, but that would take a while to tame it, and the horse would die easily to a Rex. Was there another tame with knockout potential? The Pomon Scorpius, or Pomon for short. This was an easy knockout tame that could sting its opponents to apply torpor. If I was able to level its melee stat up enough, and trap or immobilize the Rex, it could work. So, for day 47, I quickly killed an Alpha Rex, and tamed a Pomon with a high melee stat. I grabbed a Behemoth Gateway, Gate, and 3 Stone Gateways, as well as my Ascendant Pomon Saddle. And lemons. As I found an industrial grinder, and spent the rest of the day finding a Rex. Day 50, I found a Rex and trapped it using the gates I brought as I made a reusable trap. Save the turtles. Always. That afternoon was spent tickling the Rex with my stinger, until it fell asleep. And day 51, I was just looking for drops, while I waited for the Rex to wake up. The next day, I tamed the Rex, cryopodded it, and catfished a low-level male Rex into the trap. Pro tip, if you're trying to do the same thing, drag over a corpse to heal your Rex after it has lost a decent chunk of health, when it's still biting at your family muffins. This saves you a lot of time later, trust me. And day 53 was another drop hunting day. Day 54, I flew back home and placed a preserving bin to preserve my stuff. I didn't know it did that. Then,
it was mating season.
Day 55, I started building a home because I was the homeless. And I Anakin'd. Enough said. I also realized that my floor looked like a The Washington Monument. Day 56, Orphan Decimation. Day 57, I channeled my inner Bob the Builder and decorated your mom's house with my clothing. The next morning, I gave the house a Ring doorbell and stored my blood for future use. Is it ethical? Probably not. But is it practical? Yes, sir. Day 59, I got my first mutation, a health mutation. Basically, mutations increase the amount that a dino has in a stat before leveling. To make boss fighting armies, ARK players stack up these mutations to make the strongest dinos possible. That's as much as I'm gonna explain today. If you're still interested, there's a whole lot of videos on YouTube that explain it that are from much higher qualified muffins than this guy.
Hydroponics.
Going into day 60, I did the downriver run again. Little does ARK know, I was raised on the OG Call of Duty Modern Warfare snowmobile mission. So, I channeled my inner child and beat the Gamma and Beta versions of this mission. During this time, I was under the impression that people had a hard time doing those versions. I was wrong. Day 61, I sorted through the, weaklings? ARK is such a morally complicated game sometimes. And I got a new health mutation. Day 62 and day 63 were the same thing, except I did some more canoeing. Want canoeing tips? Anyways, I would just recommend cutting corners and do not try to get this speed boost near the end. It's not worth it. After that, I went to go tame a Reaper, cause they're pretty easy to tame if you know what you're doing. I spent the whole day searching until my game crashed because of the sheer amount of overspawning in this game. I love ARK. Also, this reset my day's progress. Then 30 minutes of getting my progress back later, and my power went out. What the flip? After reconsidering my life choices, I became a father. After trying for like 5 weeks. So, I fast traveled home and lost my son the minute he was born. So, for the next 24 hours, I raised my new baby boy, I collected blood samples, and I obliterated
muffins.
Day 66 was the same as any other day, except I blended
Muffins.
and named my Reaper Shinmoku, which is a Japanese word for silence. The dawn of the next morning was soon full of squeaky controller syndrome, and ended with the shrieks of the shorties, as the game gave me a spear and encouraged me to kebab anybody that was shorter than 5'6". It would survive the ARK time, baby. What do I recommend for this mission? Stabby stick, pistol, and mandatory workers. Day 68, I grabbed all of the consumables I would need, then realized I was dead. After failing the beta version, I had to repair my armor, which cost me 2 arms and 2 legs. I had to cut some losses that day. Then, I not only lost the mission again, but all of my expensive armor as well. When I got back, it was day 69. Oh boy. I literally did nothing interesting the entire day. Day 70, and my first attempts at the Star Dolphin mission. Keyword, first. Because I quickly failed the second phase of that mission. Day 71, I don't know what I did, but I do know that these guys did not take their medication that morning. Then, I leveled my new Rexes and Reaper. And the day after that, I completed both the Gamma and Beta Starwing Strike missions. This mission is very similar to the Star Dolphin mission, except it's a race. So it's actually possible. Mission tip. Why does that sound like I'm asking for money? If you're on controller, or at least Xbox, only use the right stick to move the dolphin, and right trigger to shoot the walls. After a bit of practice, this mission isn't that bad. Day 74 was another leveling day, which was kind of boring, so I stole mutagen from the innards again. Dia 75. I flew back home and saw one of my favorite ARK creatures. It was max level. I wanted to tame it. I could not legally tame it. Day 76, I grinded missions and looked for a fluffy T-Rex called a Utyrannus. These things are also used in boss fights, because they boost the damage of your dinos when they roar. The next day, I still didn't find one. Before day 78, I did some research, because I knew the Star Dolphin mission would be rough. Mission tips. Jeez, now I'm asking for even more money. First phase, shoot everything that moves, and get as many power-ups as possible. Second phase, once again, kill everything in sight, but target the attack drones and glowing space rocks of doom, as you slowly take down the skiffs. Third phase, do not touch the pretty pink lasers. They are bad. Don't ask how I know that. Also, circle around him, destroy the drones whenever there are too many of them, and stay out of Barney's personal bubble. When I got back, I collected my best gear and got ready for my hardest test yet. Algebra 2. Wait, wrong script. Code Red. I was making good progress on this mission until I reached the room full of defense units. I just didn't have the firepower to take these things out in time, so I failed the mission and I spent the rest of the day grinding. Day 81, I rethought my plan for this mission and repaired my gear. Day 82, I went back in, but this time I rode my Ferox for the first section, but when I came back to my Ferox later, she wasn't transformed anymore, so I was quickly killed. R.I.P. Jin. You were too young. That afternoon, I tried the Choose Your Own Adventure mission, which I also didn't beat. Day 83, after failing that mission a second time, I realized I would have to lock in for these missions. No more games. So, I did my research. I also lost my blood extraction pump that day. The next day, I did the life support mission on Gamma. All I had to do was memorize the colors, kill stuff. Nope, it does not work. And ignore the gases slowly filling my lungs. And the day after that, I grinded missions. Okay, I'm done with the drunk. These now. The next morning, I went out to test if my flamethrower worked on defense units. It worked. A bit too well. This just reset my past 5 minutes of work, so this time it wasn't a pain. This time. The rest of that fine day, I grinded missions, which I got bullets from. Day 87, I stayed on that grind. Day 88.
Grind.
Day 89, I knew I'd need better mobility for the Choose Your Own Adventure mission, so I grabbed my grappling hooks and zipline gear. Then I went into the Code Red mission. Anyways, how'd the Code Red mission go?
Rockwell's viral agents are stealing sequenced genomes from electric. That should free up the supply of hexagons for a
Oh,
while.
let's go. Day 90.
Returning home, I decided to finish healing my Rex squad using a snow owl I'd tamed. Snow owls give your dinos extra health in exchange for all feeling in their hands. Day 91, I started moving my Rex squad over to the final boss spot. If you recall earlier in the video, there was a timer between when I could throw my dinos out of these R-rated Pokeballs. That's why I started doing this now. Also, I couldn't use any of these guys in the Choose Your Own Adventure mission, so there really was no reason to keep them at my base. Naturally, my game crashed. I spent the rest of the day watching a certain Marvel movie that starred a guy in red and black pajamas.
From here.
Day 92, I grinded missions and bought tier 2 loot crates from the Fortnite item shop, as I was looking for mind wipe tonics so that I could reset my stats. Long story short, I never got any. Day 93, I spent half of the day gathering my best gear. I'm a very organized person. I also found some fish meat, and I cooked it. Why did I do that when I already had stacks of normal meat? When I was researching how the muffin I would beat this map, I found that cooked meat and cooked fish meat both heal you the same amount. But cooked fish meat restores less hunger points. So that means I can eat more. Long story short, fish is tastier. Then it was time. One last mission.
Bye, have a great time.
Hello, mother.
All was going according to plan, until it wasn't. I cancelled that attempt and tried again.
Take back the ship's
And again.
biomedical system. Take back
And
the
again.
ship's biomedical system.
It's safe to say I was not at all getting stressed.
How many hits do you take?
So, please enjoy my slow descent into insanity.
Check the recording, check the recording. It's yellow. I think it's yellow. I would have to say it's yellow. Okay, cool. We're finally up to light. You're in the floor. What? There is yellow. Ooh. Please tell me this is the one. Ooh, crap.
After that, I decided I would use every scrap of gear, every last ounce of barefoot sanity I had left in me to beat this dang mission. One last attempt. Round 2.
So dang close. So dang close. If only I had another canteen, or even just put any points in movement speed. I don't think there's a way out of this one.
With no movement speed levels and not enough water, I couldn't run around fast enough. I spent the rest of day 96 reflecting. I'd shot my best shot and still didn't complete the mission. But at least I could go out with some style. It was over. Or was it? Is it ethical? Probably not. But before the muffins in the comments start typing, it's my challenge, mate. I've had enough to deal with already. And I'm getting my sweet, sweet dopamine today, boys. Also, wouldn't it be boring if I ended it here? Day 98, I tamed 3 high-level wolves. I would need as much firepower as I could get for the final boss. I also knocked out a level 85 Yudi. That's how desperate I was getting. It clipped out the world. Day 99, I leveled my new wolves and quickly healed them before leaving my base one last time to go to the final boss terminal.
Well, folks, it's about that time.
With that, it was time. All of my hard work has led to this moment. If you've made it this far, thank you so much for watching this mess of a 100 days. And with that, enjoy the absolute worst boss fight you have ever seen.
And a colonist revives early. Blah, blah, blah.
What is happening? Well, this might be a problem.
Children.
Guys, kill them. Please. Please. They're touching my ruin.
Just look at them.
Come on, man.
You know, in the event of emergency and a colonist revives early. Blah, blah, blah. Nope, this part of the ship is even salvageable. I suggest starting with all these nasty tentacles. No more juice! Back to full power!
Alright. I'm done.
Gen 2. It was fun to revisit this map and its awful fan service. And while I did beat it, we all know this wasn't a proper one. But who knows? Maybe at some point I can come back and finally beat this map without hacks.
I can't be defeated by the likes of you! No, no! vessel, and it is me!
Ego check.
Muffin.
I should have calculated for this possibility.
Yo, is that Cortana from Halo?
Must have.